Hi, my name is Vincent and this is going to be episode 1 of teaching you guys how to build my LNAI internship project. So, basically, for this game, I'm just going to summarize it real quick, is built in JavaScript, and the whole point of it is using this small little blue icon down here, and being able to record your voice to, like, incorporate into a game, basically. So I'm going to try this out. So you can see in the directions, it's basically, the whole point of the game is kind of like the basic dinosaur game, where you jump over incoming obstacles, where in this case it's a fox. However, instead of using simple key presses, you're going to use the mic, and once you activate it, you're going to say start to start the game, jump to jump over the fox, and the objective of the game is to avoid the fox and get the highest score possible. And then there's a small delay between the voice command and the chicken, which I'll try to remove while we're going through the tutorial in later episodes. So, but for right now, you're going to try to jump when it's near the red line, basically. So I'm going to try it out now. So ready, allow, start, jump, and you also have 3 lives as well. Jump, jump, jump. That was close. Jump, jump. And it also gets faster as the game gets on, yeah. So, yeah, basically, that's how you play the game. So, in order to make this game, we should probably first map out how to, like, actually make the game. So, I'm just going to use Google Drawing, because that's what I'm most, used to, basically. So, basically, we're going to start out with our ground right here. Let's just make it brown. Light brown. And then basically, you're going to have 2 circles or squares or whatever shape you want. And then let's change this one to like red. And then this is going to be your player. And then from there, there's going to be a fox right here, or whatever obstacle you can want. You can change it when you code it. And let's just set that to blue. So essentially what's going to happen is, let's use scribble. The fox is slowly going to come faster and faster, and then you want the character to jump over the fox. So, and then we're going to try to do this all on JavaScript canvas as well. So that might be a little bit challenging for some people. So that's just the basic outline, okay? So let's get this thing started, okay? So, I'm just gonna pull this onto my other monitor. So me open up brackets again. And then let's create a new folder. New folder, set it tutorial, and then you press select folder. Okay then, let's try out a different location then. Let's just create a new file called Allen AI Project Tutorial. I can't. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing, so, my bad. We have to first create the folder and then you open it. That's my bad. So let's just go into my documents, LNAI. Wait, tutorial was created, so I don't know why it didn't work earlier. Let's just try to open it again. Select folder. Okay, now it works. So now we're going, not a new folder, I misclicked. New. Delete that folder. And then let's save this file as index.html. So now we have a new HTML file. So let's get this all started out with the HTML, create the head. And I like using brackets because it autofills for you, but you can use whatever editor you want that's capable for both HTML and JavaScript. So then, from there, I'll create a new title. I called the game Chump because it's a play on of jump and chicken, because our main character is chicken. But yeah. And then from here, we can create a new canvas. And then you can set the ID to canvas. And then here you can create a style tag, not a script tag, a style tag. And then you do hashtag canvas. And then essentially what we're going to do with some CSS is we're just going to center it. So we're going to do position absolute. We want it to be adjustable. And then we do left 50%, top 50%. Can't do shift. And then you do transform, translate, negative 50%, comma 0. And then we also want to add a border so we can see it. 1 pixel solid black. Okay. Don't forget the colon or semicolon, and then we're going to run it. So we see here there's a canvas, but I forgot to give it a size. So we set the width to 500 pixels or 50%. How about that? 75%. Good. And then we set the height to 75%. And then I also forgot to do negative 50% here. So there you go, it's centered. Let's create just a 3 pixels so you can actually see it. So now we have that done. So now we can get started with the canvas. So we're gonna create a new script tag. You could create a bunch of JavaScript files for every single one, but I personally like everything on the same page so I can see what I'm doing. So that's why I'm just gonna probably put in multiple or a few script tags on the HTML page. But you can do it however you want. So anyways, let's create our new canvas. And then we do document dot get element by ID. Well, we name this canvas, and then we put the semicolon. And then you want to get the context of it, so you get canvas dot get context. And then you set it to 2D. And then, let's just do, usually what I like to do is, basically just test out the canvas, so I just like drawing a simple rectangle on it. So, to do that, to test it out, we can just do, fill rectangle, and then it's X, Y, width, height. So to do that, we're going to set it to 0, 0 for the top left corner, right here. And then the width, we can set it to 50, and then we can set the height to 50. So that'll draw a square. Save all, refresh. So you can see it drew it. But if you notice, the width and the height aren't exactly the same. So even though we both set it to 50 right here, it's taller than the width, basically. So in order to fix that, we have to do some simple code. So, since we know that our thing's working, we can just comment this out. And then from there, we do let rectangle is equal to canvas dot get bounding client rectangle. And then from there you do canvas dot width is equal to rectangle dot width times your personal device ratio. So if you're using it on an iPad, for example, or different like electronics, basically, it will look different and fit the scale, basically. And then you want to do the same thing for the height. Device pixel ratio. And then from there, you want to scale the context to fit the canvas width and height, or the device ratio. And then from there, you directly change the style of the canvas tag to set equal to the rectangle dot width plus pixels, because we want it to be in terms of pixels, nothing else. And I notice I spelled style wrong here. Dot style dot height is equal to rectangle dot height plus pixels. And then from there we can uncomment this, and it should look like, you can see now that the top left and the top right are, in terms of pixels, and they're the same. So that worked. So now we can start getting on to our actual code, basically. So let's create a new function. Basically just drawing the character, player, and the enemy. That's what we're going to do for this episode. Just the player, enemy, and the background. So let's name this the background. And then from there, we're just going to fill it a little bit. So we're going to do ctx.fillStyle is equal to, here, let's search up light blue color code, ADD, so it'll be hashtag ADD8E6, and then we can do, ctx.fill rectangle, and then the same xy coordinates. So we want to fill the whole entire canvas. So we're just going to do x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, width is equal to canvas.height, canvas.width, and then this one's canvas.height. And then we can run background, and it should fill, if I can spell it right, it should fill it all the way with the rectangle. So yeah, you see there, it's completely light blue background. And then from there, let's start working on the ground. So let's do tan color code, because brown color code is like way too dark and slightly reddish color. So that's why we have to do tan instead. And then we paste that code in. Don't forget the semicolon. The good thing about brackets is that even if you do miss a semicolon, that it will still run the program, but it's better to do it with semicolons, because if someone else uses a different program that doesn't automatically do that, then it might not work for them. So it's better to just do the semicolons. So now we can do this. So basically we do that, except we want to change the y value. So we only want it to be around 100 tall. 100 pixels tall. And then we do canvas.height minus 100. Oh wait, no. I screwed that up. We want this one to be canvas height minus 100. Or am I thinking right? Let's just see what it says. Yeah, it isn't there. So XY value would be canvas height minus 100. There you go. Now it's on the bottom. But let's just set it to maybe 200 because, or let's do 175. 175. And then now it's a little bit taller. And then now we can start working on our actual character. But before we do that, we just want to set up our for loop so that it continues to print it out. Basically. So in order to do that, we create a new function, and we title that loop. And then we put timestamp inside of those parentheses, and then you do progress is equal to the timestamp minus last render, and then we're going to give the variable last render. And then basically what last render is equal to the previous timestamp, so we're just going to set timestamp to that. And then we're going to call something called request animation frame, and then you set it to loop. And then from there, you want to set var last render is equal to 0, so that when you start the program, the last render is going to be 0. And then you also have to reset the animation frame, so you call animation frame, then loop. And then you put what you want to loop in between here. So since we want to loop background, we put that in there. And should work. Don't forget the semicolon. Save all and run. So you see, it doesn't make any difference, but it'll work in our favor later on. So now we can go on to work on to our character. So basically for our character, we're going to create a variable, and title it character here. Var character is equal to, and then here you can listen all of the values. So we want the position of the character to be 10. If we don't want it to be right next to the edge, we just want it to be slightly over so it doesn't collide with the edge. And then from there, I didn't even press that, we get the Y value. So essentially what that is the height of the floor. So we get the height of the floor, and then you also have to minus it by your character's height. So let's just do that now. So the width will be around maybe 90 so pixels, and then you want the height of it to be around 100 so pixels. And then once we know the height for value, we just do minus 100. And then later on, we're going to have jump. We're going to make the character jump. So we create a boolean, and where it's true, where we set the jumping to true or false. So right now it's going to be false because the character won't be jumping. And then when you're also jumping, you also need y velocity. So we create y velocity, and then we set it to 0. And then put the semicolon. And then now that we're done with that, we create a new function titled maybe draw character. And then essentially what that's going to do, don't forget the parentheses. Essentially what we're going to do right now, because we don't have any sprites in this one, we're just going to draw a rectangle. So we're going to get ctx dot fill style is equal to red. And since this is built into JavaScript, I mean CSS, it'll register red. You don't have to use a color code. And then from there, you can do ctx.fillRectangle, and then you can do character.x, character.y, character.width, character.height. And then we can copy over our function, copy, paste it, file, save all, and then you refresh it, and there is our character. And now that we did the character, we can also do the enemy as well. So var enemy is equal to this. And then this x value, it's going to start canvas.width, but it's going to be minus the width, the character's width, minus 10. So it matches our character. And then y is going to be the same thing as this, but only it's not going to be the same exact height, so we're going to have to change it. And then we set the width is around, let's say, 100 pixels. And then we want it to be shorter than our character, so let's set the height to be around 50. So it's a perfect rectangle. And then the enemy is going to need x velocity, because it's going to be moving left and right, left to hit our character. So we give it the x velocity of -0, or we can set 0. But it's going to move negative if we want to move left, right. And then from here, we can just plug in these values. So we do width, we have to do that, and then this one's going to be the height, so it's going to be 50. And then from here, we create a new function titled draw enemy, and then we do ctx.fillRectangle, or fill style, sorry, because we want to change the color. Fill style is equal to blue, and then we want to do, I forgot the semicolon here, I just realized. Then we want to do ctx.fillRectangle, enemy.x, enemy.y, enemy.width, enemy.height. And then we do draw enemy, and then we save all, and it should, yeah, it did work. Okay, now our video is kind of getting long, 23 minutes so far, so let's just finish up the code to make them jump and move really quick. So basically, what we're going to do now is we're going to change the velocity to -1. -1. And then from here, you want to set it so that enemy.x is equal to enemy.x plus enemy.velocity, x velocity. And then from there, you can see it starts to move, which is good. And I just realized we have to draw the enemy before it, or else it will overlap our character, which is what we don't want. So we're going to draw the character afterward. And then from there, you want to do a simple if statement. So you do um, if enemy dot x plus enemy dot width. So that's encompassing the whole, the top right corner of the enemy, basically. So so you check to see if that top right corner is off the screen, so it's less than 0. Then you want to set it so, sorry, I'm so used to Python. So you say if the top right corner is off the screen, then basically what you want to do is you want to reset the value. So you want to set it so that enemy dot x is equal to canvas dot width my plus plus enemy dot width plus 10. So basically what that will do is it's going to spawn it off screen so that it keeps on moving smoothly. So if you see here, it should work. So once it continues to move. Actually seeing this now, I think we should draw the enemy over the character. So that should work. Then you file, save all, and then you refresh it. So now, when you see the right side of it moves off, it continues on later. Okay. And now, let's try to do key commands with the character to make our character jump. So basically, actually, our requirement's getting pretty long for YouTube, so we'll just continue to do this on the next episode. So I hope you guys learned something so far, and so far we're around like a sixth or a fifth way through the project. We got most of it, like most of the basics done, so we can continue it for the next episode. So thank you for listening, and goodbye.